My sister came barging in the kitchen and yelled, "Tell me you didn't eat that!" as she dialed 911. Her eyes were wide, her hair was wild, and her finger was shaking as it pointed at the empty plate in front of me. "Eat what?" I asked, which was the wrong answer. "The muffin!" she shouted. "The one in the glass container with the bright red sticker that said not for you. Tell me you didn't eat the whole thing." I looked at the plate, then at her, then at the plate again. "I mean, I taste tested it." She slapped her forehead. "You ate an edible, a strong one. You're 17. They are going to arrest me." She was already pacing with her phone to her ear, whispering urgently to the dispatcher about possible THC overdose, minor exposure, and "My brother is an idiot, but please don't put me in handcuffs." I sighed and sat obediently at the kitchen table. She was 25, therefore the boss by birth order, and I had spent my entire childhood doing whatever she yelled at me to do. If she told me to stay put and wait for the consequences of my snack choices, that was exactly what I'd do. The paramedics arrived fast, like they'd been sitting around waiting for someone to do something dumb. They burst through the door and immediately started shining lights in my eyes and checking my pulse. "Feeling dizzy?" one asked. "I'm feeling judged," I said. He didn't laugh. My sister launched into a frantic explanation about how she'd baked a batch of edibles for a friend and how she'd hidden them responsibly. The paramedics exchanged looks. My sister kept digging the hole deeper. She admitted the muffins were way too strong because she'd followed a recipe from a guy online who was definitely more experienced. That did not reassure anyone. Then she explained that she didn't realize how strong they were until after she sampled half of one and spent 3 hours convinced our couch was a spaceship. Then she confessed she didn't technically have a medical card yet because the appointment is next month, which made both paramedics raise their eyebrows. Then she dropped her final bomb. She wasn't sure whether possession laws in our state allowed homemade edibles without proper authorization, and she wasn't sure how the police would feel about her 17-year-old brother eating one. The paramedic who had been taking my pulse paused. "He's under 18? My sister winced. "Technically, ma'am," he said slowly. "You understand this is a legal issue." No. Please, he wasn't supposed to. He never reads labels. How was I supposed to know he'd eat something clearly marked not for you? I raised my hand. In my defense, that has never stopped me before. No one laughed at that either. Next thing I knew, they were talking about taking me to the hospital for observation and contacting the police because of the involvement of a minor. My sister looked like she was about to pass out. Then I saw her pull out her driver's license and start rehearsing her apology to the officers out loud. She'd spiraled so deep into panic that I almost felt bad for her. Almost. So I sat up on the stretcher and said, "Okay, enough. Tell them the truth." My sister froze. "What truth?" "The truth is that you didn't hide the muffins," I said. "You left them on the counter next to the regular muffins like a booby trap, and you knew I was hungry because you ate the last of the cereal. And," I continued, "if anyone's responsible, it's the adult who left edibles lying around like free samples. I didn't know what it was. I thought it was breakfast." Her face was drained of all color. "Why would you say that?" "Because," I said, "I'm not the one they're threatening to arrest." The paramedic stepped aside and made a call, a very serious-sounding one. My sister covered her face with both hands as phrases like improper storage, minor exposure, and potential charges drifted over. When the officer arrived, she tried to explain, but every attempt made her look worse. She blamed the recipe. She blamed the container. She blamed me. She blamed gravity. Nothing helped. By the time they finished with her, she'd been issued a fine, a mandatory safety class, and a stern lecture that would have shaken a statue. She looked like she'd aged 5 years in 30 minutes. She stared at me, devastated. "You really couldn't have just said you snuck it?" I shrugged. "I just told the truth." She grounded me. The officer ungrounded me, and she now locks her snacks in a